One of our favorite strategies here with Algobox, you will hear this strategy referred to as the HMD, the Harmonic dot, and we are shortening, again, a multi-confluent strategy here, which is harmonic references of structure plus Fibonacci, not just one, multi-Fibonacci levels, plus an Elliot wave, plus the confluence behind our infamous Fibella dots. If you don't know what those are, hang tight here inside of this strategy, but I want you to know about this as we go into it, what we're talking about while we are drawing this up. The high visibility, that is one of the keys of this set of strategies. Now you can see that from some of our background back here. You know, this is what a harmonic looks like on our charts. Here's one here, here's one over here. Sort of what we are known for inside of Algobox, one of the components of Algobox. Again, Algobox is an all-encompassing product that holds many keys, and we use confluence to guide and enter on our positions. If we have a harmonic that is coming out, might look something like that. All right, looks a little bit like a 50 cent. On this is a 50 cent. Don't worry about what type of harmonics these are. Again, we pretty much show the gambit. You can learn a whole lot about harmonics out there on the web. You can also go deeper into our program specific ones, but it really doesn't matter. For this particular strategy, we are focused in on what is called the PRZ over here in this box. This will automatically be drawn for you in our system. That box can either be three colors. It will be green or red or gold. Gold means it's sort of, red light, green light system if you're driving around the United States. The yellow light means get ready. That means that is a harmonic that is forming in progress, and we're showing you where the PRZ will be ahead of time. If it is green, then we are looking for a long reversal in that location in general, and if it is red, we are looking for a short in that area. In this case, it is green, but again, if it were red, the entire thing will be red, and of course yellow, okay? Now, inside of the PRZ, what we're going to be looking for is one of our Fibella dot entries inside of this PRZ. As simple as that. And what we are looking for is a dot. Now, that dot can be multiple colors. We have multicolor levels. Go back and study in lesson 1 through 6. We will teach you all that stuff. And of course, you can execute these in real time along with the rest of our crew. Inside of this box, we are looking for literally a dot. Hence, this is where we have the HMD. The D is for the dot that is going to show up. That dot will typically be formed from a multi-leg scenario. Again, I'm going to show you guys some live examples here in a few moments. You know what? Let's do blue. We're going to show a power dot example anyways. So if a blue were to show up, in fact, we know a lot of the members on our crew already know that a blue is actually one of our most powerful long signals. Blue is more powerful than a green, and bright green is more powerful than a dark green. And again, you'll learn about those things in lessons 1 through 6 on the colorings of these. But that means that there are multiple levels of confluence at this location. Now, some of the things that are absolutely required inside of a Fibella dot, obviously, multi-level fib has to have at least 2 Fibonacci levels at that location, at least. And yes, we can have up to 15 points of confluence inside of one of these dots, and if it's at 15, it will either be blue like this one or pink. Okay, so blue or pink are going to be our most powerful dots by themselves, but what we're talking about here tonight focused in on the combination of the harmonic plus the dot. It's as simple as that. Okay, so this one is going to be a power dot, blue. We also must have the multi-fib and Elliot wave. Also must be an Elliot wave ABCD of equal length, and of course you guys can go study Elliot wave, but we are combining a lot of studies, must be in there, but there can be other things. We've got overbought, oversold conditions, along with a myriad of other proprietary items that most of you guys are familiar with those studies, but what we're trying to do is build inside of our system confluence levels that give ourselves up to 15 points. That's like our start of where we want to take an entry, is at least 15 points of confluence before we are executing. Now, that can be done by hand. There are a lot of people out there who try. We happen to do it very consistently, and we'll show you some of the results from myself and the other members inside of a scenario like this. So a blue or green means that we are looking for longs. In this case, we've got a green PRZ, a green/blue dot, so we are looking for a long entry. The entry is right here at the dot itself. This will fire off. Now, oftentimes, like the price, we'll do pink here for price, so Again, these are going to be bars inside of here, and I'll show you these live examples, but just follow with. So, price is moving along this area, and now we have price starting to move up and out. This is what we want to see. We want to get as close to that dot as possible on our entry, but oftentimes that entry ends up on price as price starts to react very, very quickly at these zones. Well, oftentimes we'll end up being here or just outside that box right about here. But this is the ideal, trying to get as close to that dot as possible. Price can tend to, wiggle around a little bit and whatnot, but what we're looking for is that oomph right up and out of here. But we've got so much confluence in this type of strategy that we want to try to get in right here, and we are taking this entry. Now our stop is going to be right here. Okay, you're thinking, what? Wait, that seems pretty tight. That's exactly the point. Okay, on an HMD, we are getting a pinpoint entry location. If you're wondering how, the success rate of our members is so much greater than those who have, you see all these other programs that are out there, and I won't say programs, most of them are just education. Okay, what I call regurgitation, not education. Most of them are just regurgitating stuff that's in books, and the stuff that's in the books no longer works. Folks like me are classically trained as a quant to code programs that will remove retail money from them based on what they've already learned in books. So if you learned it from a book, I'm sorry, you've actually learned the opposite of what you should be trading now. But that's another story for another day. Now, some people will tend to put their stop outside this box. In my opinion, that's a mistake. But on an HMD, those of you guys who are trading HMD, this is some of the common mistakes for many of the folks who are trading this. Is the wrong stop location. Just talked with somebody even yesterday. They're trading an HMD for a very long time, but did not know. They thought that the stop went here. Not true. Okay, do not put that stop right there. The stop mentally should be right back behind this dot. If the dot breaks, the trade is off. Because again, on an HMD, I've got to have not just a harmonic. Like, we are not just trading harmonics in here, folks. Don't just enter in on a harmonic. Unless there was a harmonic prior that was by itself, we effectively moved, plus a harmonic going the opposite direction. Then if the previous harmonic worked, the second one can also be worked. But we are not talking about that strategy. We are talking about multi-level confluence. If it's an HMD, it's an HMD, folks. What are our rules on entering in on a dot? The same rules apply. Okay, so that should be a key to those of you guys who have been in our crew for a while. Do not put your stop in the wrong location. There we go. I won't beat that dead horse any farther. I think I have made that pretty clear. So our stop on this is going to be right back behind that dot. You initially, remember, we are using ATMs. Okay, if you don't know what that is, it's not an automatic teller machine, although this is the closest system on the planet that's like a money printing machine that you can get, in my opinion. Haven't seen anything better than ours. We've won 3 contests. We're pretty confident in standing behind that. This is automatic trade management. Automatic trade management. When we enter into our trades, it automatically is going to put stops and targets. On a trade entry like this, if we are on the lowest time frame, we want a 10, we want a 15, and then a 25 plus runners, which again, we'll talk about that in other videos. So go into lessons 1 through 6 for some of that. Now, again, this does not necessarily have to wiggle like this. In fact, sometimes we will see trades shoot straight up and out of here. I'm going to show you guys live examples here momentarily, but your ATM is going to handle a lot of this for you. Now, by default, the reason I'm harping on this now is because the ATM is going to start out putting that stop down here. Now, depending on what the VIX level in the market is, again, we follow the VIX very closely. We have 2 ATM stops by default. These are called our default ATMs. And this is either going to be at 25 during normal market conditions or 15 ticks as of right now. So the maximum level of risk when an ATM opens up, it is your responsibility to visibly know that what people will call a mental stop is right here. Okay, if this dot breaks, meaning if price comes down for some reason through this area, boom, where am I closing out? Right here. I want to close. Now, what button are we going to be hitting for that? We use the close button. You don't need to move your stop. In fact, I recommend keeping your stops back out of the way. There are all kinds of theories around this. I like to side on the safe side. I'm not going to talk about my specific personal opinion on this stuff, but people who believe that their stops are hunted very specifically, whatever your thought process is on that, there's all kinds of people debating that fact. If you want to be on the safe side, like me, I just play it that, you know what, I leave my stop back there. I'm mentally going to be closing out as this comes to this area so that the default, my stop is way up, out of the way, not in the view and the purview of algos that are trying to hunt those stops. and I'm going to close out this position as we break that line. So as our trade starts to progress, we've got our stop entry, again, target here at 10 for our first. Now why 10, 15, and 25? Almost all of our systems, I developed this for myself. Like at the end of the day, why did I develop what we have right here? A lot of this is around my personal philosophies around trading the markets, playing the markets like a video game, getting in and out, making consistent chunks of money progressively, and then we're kind of chipping away, hitting home runs. I'm not relying on my big money winners, on my big runners to make that money. I want to consistently take home 10 and 15 ticks. But know that 10 and 15 is kind of our default, de facto spot of our taking profits. Those are in ticks, 10 and 15 ticks. We have a secondary set of ATMs that what we call a large ATM, 15 and 25 ticks for targets 1 and targets 2. This will depend upon what time frame this structure and this setup strategy shows up on. If this comes in on a level 1, okay, that's our lowest time frame. Level 2, I'm gonna give some of our common ones. These are it. This is our core, levels 1, 2, 3, 5s, and 8s. If one of these shows up on this set here on a level 1 or 2, I am looking for the 10 and 15. If this lands on a 3, it can be either one. Take your pick. Depends on other things that are going on in the market. However, if one of these shows up on a 5 or an 8, I definitely want to be taking the 15 or the 25. So you might be asking, well, how do I do that on the fly? Very, very easy. With our system, you're already going to have created 2 sets of ATMs. ATM set 1 we call and refer to as the small. And of course, no rocket science here, large. Very simple, right? We're either looking for a big trade or a small trade, small or large, that's it. So larger time frames, 5 and 8s, I'm looking for my default, which means, by the way, I'm skipping a 10. I'm not trying to take 10 ticks out of a trade if I'm taking this off of a 5 or an 8 that's coming in. Okay, higher time frames, that means bigger moves, etc. Okay, as far as the dot, everything else stays the same. We don't change the strategy on the stop for that. The dot sizes are relative, so same stuff. If it breaks that dot, we're closing it out. Let's talk about re-entries in just a moment. Okay, we can re-enter, so hang tight for that. We'll talk about it. Okay, I want to make sure you guys understand this. Again, algo bars are the bar types that we are primarily showing for entries. We do not enter on other bar types most of the time. There are exceptions to that. 2-finger salute is an example, maybe a J hook. There are others in there, but in general, these are our entry time charts, and this is based on customized bar types. Algo bars, level 2 and 3, definitely small. 3 can be questionable. You know, I kind of default to going small, and if I see the speed of the market, the VIX is higher, comes in on a 3, I will move out my 10 target out to a 25. It's very, very simple, right? In fact, I kind of call this my default ATM. I could use this all day long because how easy is it to grab the tag of target 1 and I can simply move it out, right? It doesn't have to be exactly to 25, but approximately, right? I can literally grab it and be like, nope, I think this one is going to go a little bit farther. So oftentimes if this comes in on a level 3, I'll just move that target out, right? I'll be like, I'm gonna try it, right? And I can always close out the trade here if something just doesn't look right. You know that on the fly, you know, Tom Dante teaches something called evolving R, and we have that same concept in here where as the trade evolves, the risk reward evolves along with it as the trade develops. And we're looking to maximize that, which you'll learn in your final 40 days. Again, we have a 120-day program divided up into 3 sections of 40. But in the final 40 days, we talk about maximizing those winners, and that's more important there. But I want to teach the core right now. So if you're having to pick, if you're going to be having small or large, I tend to stay with small, and then I just adjust on the fly. Okay, so you could literally, if you wanted down to 1 ATM, if you didn't want to have 2, you want to simplify things, my suggestion is just have this one, okay? Because you can always grab the 10, move it out. Okay, so we got our small and our large ATM. You guys follow all of that. We want to chunk away that 10 and 15 on a regular basis. Let's talk about what happens if price breaks down, boom, and I close out the trade. So if I close out this trade right here on our button colors, you will see and be using the blue button. So I'll put a blue line right here to represent a manual closure, okay, which should be a small loss. Again, our average loss, stop losses around here on average are 6 to 8 ticks. And of course, we've already talked about, you know, what our default targets are. And of course, the shared target between these two is 15. So we have a very, very common target of 15 ticks for most of our trade styles in here. We're closing out right here manually. Boom, the trade is over. However, if this trade stays inside of this harmonic, then starts to move back up in our direction, which, you know, how often that can happen sometimes, thing starts to go, I can try this again, right? I can take another swing at this, no problem whatsoever. Keep the same stop though, folks. If you're going to re-enter, okay, so we're talking about re-entry rules now. If price starts to come back up and in it, sure, you can take 2 swings, but folks, we're not doing 3 strikes, you're out, okay? Do not take a 3rd swing. If it does not work the 2nd time, it's over, done. Move on, look for another trade, look at another instrument, look for another HMD on another instrument. Something's going on in that area. We don't need to play guessing games with it. You can also wait for SMLK timings, which you'll learn in our other videos, but right now focusing in on the HMD. It is no longer an HMD if that dot pops, right? At that point, you're looking for the harmonic to maybe play out for that structure, and you really want to have some other things going for you on this trade. You need to have some other reason why you want to get long here. Definitely don't want to be trading against the MACV filter. You don't want to be trading against the favorable direction. 2 major things, and of course, again, harping on it, but down in lessons 1 through 6. So check those out, make sure you know those and learn it as you go. There we go. This is how the trade works. I've drawn it out. Now let's look at some live examples. Make sure you are inside of our Discord chat. This is what one of those looks like in real time. Inside of here, you can see, let's see, there is this one particularly looks like it is inside of a cipher, potentially a shark as well. So this is a multi-harmonic, which you'll learn that in some other videos. There are multiple PRZs going on here, but just the one, the final one there, there is actually just one, so that's good. This is just a cipher. So there's a PRZ right there that is not formed yet. Remember I told you guys before on, if you see a golden one, you'll learn this in our other videos, there is one setting up. There's going to be a PRZ right there at 29.24, again ahead of time. This is something that no other system out there has. I don't want to, I mean, there might be, but not that I'm aware of. Inside of our PRZ, got the box, and what do I see? Got that dot right in there. So there's my PRZ. There's that dot, bam. So green and green, pretty easy. Now, some of the more advanced questions, I probably should answer this earlier. If you have a harmonic that is green, but you get a red dot, an opposing signal color inside, which one do you take? By default, you go with the color of the dot. This particularly applies to something called the diamond dot strategy. If there is a diamond harmonic, and always, I mean, it's one of the most powerful ones that we've got if those are combined. But if you get a diamond plus a dot, doesn't matter if the diamond is green, if that dot is red, we're looking for a short. Red is short, green is long, blue is long, pink is short. As we see on this one, great example. I mean, price just absolutely rockets out of here. Nice little setup right there. Makes it very, very easy. From a thumbnail, highly visible. I reiterate that. They are very, very easy to see. You could literally start trading this tomorrow, install our system. If one of these shows up, you take the entry. Very, very easy. Green and green, you're going long. Green and red, if it's a red dot, you're going short. Pretty easy, right? All right, so there is one live example. There are many along here. Let's look at one that's kind of got a little GIF in action here. So there we go. This one starts out. There's the PRZ box, and we've got that green dot inside of it. See how it starts right there? Boom. Price is starting to move up. Now price moved down a little bit. See how it wiggles a little bit on this one? Again, it doesn't always have to do that, but this example is one of those where price didn't just go straight up and out of there, and that can happen. You'll also see like there are things going on here as I was taking this trade where I was adding to position. Looks like I start out with a small 6 contract position. I go to 8 to get to 10. Does not look like I added any further, so that was up to 10 contracts as we added in on that one. Now this one also has some other points of confluence. Those of you who have been around our system for a while, you can see we've got some Flowmaster crosses showing up along with, that is a double timing line right there, right? It's double king vertical for our timing lines. So beautiful trade came in right there. The thing that made this very easy to see, the first thing you see that shows up, we got that HMD, then we add Flowmaster, another Flowmaster comes in there, we get a nice big push up and out of there, multi-targets filled on that HMD entry, and we're punching it long. Some of the things you'll notice on this one, order of operations, we've got longs favorable. Over here on the right, what color is my MACV? Green. What color is my algo matrix? Also, show me primarily green. Okay, this is more the advanced stuff. Other things that you're looking for to build into Confluence as you're taking a trade. That was a nice looking setup right there. HMD for the entry. Let's take a look at this one. This one is a little bit trickier. I like that we're getting this example here. So first thing, you'll notice what color is the PRZ box on this one. Notice it's not green this time. Okay, this one is still developing and the dot showed up ahead of time. Doesn't matter. Okay, you get my point? The PRZ structure, having that structure there is what matters. Then a dot inside of it. We don't care the color, right? Color agnostic. You know, we want, once it's formed, we want, you know, the bias is to the long side on this one particularly. We've got longs favorable. I've got MACV in our favor. You know, great trade setup coming in here, but the HMD is what we want to take for our pinpoint entry location. Easy spot to see. There it is, okay? Another one that allows us some additional confluence as it develops. The trade does come back, pops. You notice this was a break. You notice how it broke that, but we got the crosses coming in there. So I went ahead and held this. This is a little bit more of an advanced one, but I'm taking that first entry off of the HMD. Pierces, comes through, but now we have a PRZ cross and nice set of trades right there on this one, and we end up taking off up and away. Great little trade right there. There are a lot of other examples. These are some great examples you can come check out on the HMDs. A couple more that I wanted to show. Look at that. That's a beauty. This one is power dot, blue dot. Look at the power of the blue. If you start to see the color change, if it's not green, you know, I said earlier, blue is more powerful. One shows up like this. I mean, look at the results, right? You can just see that massive move up and out of there. Easy peasy. Beautiful spot right there. You'll hear us refer to that as a power dot. All right, combo kill. All right, you guys know how I like to use gaming references, specifically with our tool sets. Okay, it's a headshot, but not an HMD. So that's it, folks. Let me show you some results. Central Lamb posted his result. $4,800, very nice. 57% profit. Let's take a peek at that profit factor. 1.99. So winners, almost 2 times the size of the losers. Matt's posting his at profit factor 23. Holy shnikes. Wow, he crushed it today. 93.75% for him today. $2,200. Thank you, Derek, for that. Thanks. 4,000 made his 4K target today. Excellent work. 48% profitable. We get trolled a lot. Yeah, but your percent profitable isn't very high. It doesn't matter. When your profit factor is 3.39 and your winners are 3 times the size of your losers, doesn't matter. That's why those two need to be combined, folks. 4K in a day on 3 profit factor. Leanne, 1375. Excellent work. 85% profitable. Holy shnikes. 99 profit factor. So basically, she really didn't take any loss. That means that her stops were at her break-even point, so you're basically talking about minus commissions. CG, my right-hand man, 2075. Profit factor 56. Basically the same thing. He's getting a lot of just break-evens on his. Basically no loss at all. I mean, max drawdown $37 to make $2 grand. Nice work there, sir. 85% on those. Awesome work. $3,350. Awesome. 100% profitable. KC, looks like he's practicing in his sim account, making 6K, in his live account 1,900. Matt ended up closing the day at 4K, even better. Holy shnikes. So he got better toward the end of the day. How did Michael G do? He's trading micros, $67. That's all right. The percent profitable, 70%. Profit factor 3.45. All right, Mr. Tomorrow, 5K, 5,400. Profit factor 1.34, 40%. Nice work. Central Lamb, $2,025. Thanks for hanging out. For me, Pippy, Robbie, Lunchbot, Mod Squad, Curtis G, and the rest of the gang. I'm sending out the Big H Town.